two major political parties to their supporters to converge at the election collation centers to protect the ballot. Electoral Commission officials and security service personnel at the centers. The election situation room is concerned about this regrettable development that could impede the work of electoral officers, unnecessarily delay the delivery of election results, and of course that is already showing, and heighten tension at the collation centers. It is essential that political parties exercise restraint by withdrawing their supporters from the collation centers and allow their accredited agents to observe the collation process. The Peace Council calls on political parties to respect the electoral rules and allow Electoral Commission personnel to carry out their duties with professionalism and integrity in order to deliver a free, fair, and transparent election. So, what you are saying is already happening. Yeah. Normally around this time, there would have been a lot of progress done at the collation centers. Yeah. So our reporters would have started giving us the certified results at the collation centers. And please remember that what we do here, okay, it's not to deal with results that are not certified. We deal with results that are certified. And so if this continues, it means that the originally estimated time to deliver the results will delay. Yeah. And across the board, we are hearing about delays to get the ballot boxes into the collation centers.
You know, it's sad that after midnight we are not seeing these results. It's sad that we have a lot of people also amassing at the various collation centers, making things difficult. It's also sad that with the amount of money we've spent on this election, we didn't foresee some of these things to put in place other strategies to collate results. I have always felt that at the national level, there should be a system at the national level to take the results from the polling stations. So once it's certified at the polling station, whoever is at the polling station transmits it to the EC. The parties have their reps at the national level. They also get from their agents and cross-check. So we put it in the general master sheet and start building up the data, because it's still information. So if by midnight...
The same thing that the parties are able to do.
Exactly.
And will be able to tell you the results long before...
And I think the EC should be able to do that. I think usually the EC wants to take the constituency results and put in there. But they should also be able to build that data from that, because...
And now they have, I don't know if the agents or the representatives are not aware, the EC has even created regional collation.
Yes, collation. Exactly.
I have never seen the sense in that in the first place.
That's a further bureaucracy?
Yes, because regions do not matter.
The idea is more transparency. That's what they're trying to do.
Raymond, I would disagree with you. Regions do matter in our presidential elections.
How?
And people within the regions...
The entire country is one constituency.
It's true, but if Ashanti region is getting over 3 million voters, and if turnout is 75%, and there's going to be a difference of 1 million votes, somebody needs to know what's happening. If voter is this, somebody needs to know what...
But that's immaterial to the collation. You can tell me the results from a region. That's not the same as having to collate at the regional level.
But at this point...
I don't see why you should have constituencies, because they are members of parliament. But when the entire nation is one, what they call it, constituency, why should there be regions having to review before there is onward submission to national?
There is an administrative structure of having regional coordinating councils. So if I belong to a certain region,
anyway.
We can discuss that.
Yes.
And even our district assembly system, we can discuss that at length. But if I'm within a certain region, it also serves my interest to know how the votes are going within my region. It's all information.
Right.
So I think that with EC setting up that National Collation Center, opening it up, telling us they are going to have the Excel master sheet on display and all these things, it would have been great to start receiving some of the information and projecting that. It's the same, in the same vein, it would have been great to even know the turnout by now, so that we know that.
But you know that by now some people know.
Some people know
how far.
Some people know their how far. And it is up to the EC to also let us know the so far. That's why we say so far, how far.
But of course, we all want to deal with certified results.
Yes.
And Raymond, this is the note on which we will cross over to Studio 995. In Kumasi for a continuation of our coverage. And as always, you can trust us that we have the experience and we have the track record. We will do it the same way we do it all the time. Credible, accurate, it will be.
Certified.
Certified, correct. Yes. It will be. Yes. Those who have joined myself and Raymond to do the discussion and to help you keep wake and to watch the results have been Professor Echesika Anku, who is with the Unimark, and Kojo Akoto Boating. He is a farmer. That's how he wants to be known.
A journalist on sabbatical leave.
So we don't actually say former journalist, right?
No, journalist on sabbatical leave.
Always a journalist.
Yes.
And I love his sense of the geography and the way he's able to romanticize the numbers.
I was hoping we would get into the northern part. We move from Volta to Oti region, then we cross over into northeastern.
Certainly, we'll do so. So, Studio 995, please take over.
Most of us, but I believe that, all is well that ends well. Now, I'd like to introduce you my panel this evening. I've got Dr. Amache Boateng with me. He's with the History and Political Studies Department, K University. Also, I have Professor Martin Akote. He's a rector for the Valley View University, and he's a governance expert as well. Now, before I ask you, gentlemen, to tell me how your day has been, because I know that you went out there to vote, especially you, Professor Akote, you had to travel all the way to the Oti region to go and vote. I mean, this press conference held by the GJA saying that the lives of a journalist matters and that there's been some threats, some journalists. What do you make of all this, Professor Akote?
Well, thank you very much, David. Yes, it is true the lives of all journalists matter. But I wish we could slow down some of these press statements at this point in time. At this moment, everybody is trying to know what is happening with the results. So I wish we will focus on that. But what is
From visiting big tech companies like Google, Microsoft, and Coursera, sailing under the Golden Gate Bridge, exploring the...
It doesn't seem as if we've learned some lessons from it, because even in today's elections, lives have been lost. Yes. How does that, sit with you?
Well, it is rather unfortunate because this means that we're still not there as a country. Ghana prides itself so well of our democratic credentials, but when it gets to this point, it doesn't look like we are there yet. And it is unfortunate. It is something all stakeholders will have to work on so that we can really reduce some of these tensions that are always associated with our elections.
One other concern I would like for you, Dr. Amache Boateng, to take this one up for me, has to do with the fact that somebody was even arrested in the Kaswa, enclave, holding an AK-47 rifle. Why would an individual, knowing how critical this year's elections is, and all the education and all the information that we've shared, still go to a station with a rifle?
Thanks, David. Let me say good evening to your viewers. Actually, the whole thing is quite interesting. He has the courage to carry the weapon there. AK-47 is supposed to be used by the security people. And this individual, I don't know, we don't have much information about him. You know, having the courage to take it there at this material moment leaves a lot to be desired. One thing is that some of these things are terribly disappointing. You know, the sort of the strength, the courage that they have in coming out with such weapons, to me, emanate from the fact that they know they have strong people supporting them. You know, this issue of impunity, they know, they have been promised, they have been assured that, look, go out there and do what we've asked you to do, we'll protect you. That is exactly what, you know, has been going on with all the other, you know, pockets of violence that have been visited on us, you know, today. You know, one person losing their life, you know, the story that came with it, you know, leaves a lot to be desired. You know, people came shooting simply because that they were confronted for acting in a way that is not in conformity with the electoral laws. Then that was it. They felt that, you know, how dare you? What right do you have to, you know, engage us when we, if you like, we're doing what we have been authorized to do? They were supposed to be sharing money. And just because of that, you know, they turn around, they come out with guns, shooting all over the place. And if the story that were told, the narration, if it was right, then this gentleman, you know, an individual relaxing somewhere, ostensibly having gone to vote and being seen in party colors, then that was it. You know, he was a target. I mean, we don't do that. But this is what is happening. All these things, just like road accidents, are planned and then executed. And there are strong men behind it. That is why we keep having, you know, the challenge we have in Ghana has got to do with these strong men in society who over the years have proven that they are above the laws of this country. You know, they can act in whatever way and get away with it.
So going forward, you tell me, what do you think we need to do to ensure that when we go to the polls, lives are not lost?
David, to the extent that we have this impunity becoming entrenched in Ghanaian political life, economic mismanagement, they get away with it, you know, and when we come to vote to select our leaders, they think that it should be a power game. They don't believe in you know, the right of citizens to select their own leaders. They think at the end of the day they should use their own machinations to impose candidates, individuals on society. So to the extent that these things are allowed to go, only yesterday in the United States, they simply decided to use the system to confront someone who was the immediate past president, Donald Trump. He was sent to court. Can we do that? I hear that the Constitution makes it possible for some of these people to be taken to court, I mean, 3 years after they leave office. Can we begin to, you know, act in such fashion here? In the absence of that, the impunity will continue. You know, the economy will simply be plunged. Lives will be taken for granted. After all, what? All die. David, be die. That is what we have been told, and this is what we are seeing. So Ghana is not really a serious state yet. There are certain things that are still missing. We are told that the military, you know, would not necessarily be at particular places. They turn out to be there.
In terms of the polling station?
Yes. So what is happening? Who has the final word? And this final word, is it something that could be adhered to? Or people can simply flout it and get away with it? So we are not a serious state. We are not. The problem is the leadership.
Professor Kote, come in here and tell me, what do you make of the various, you know, press conferences that we've had from the NPP and the NDC? and they are called to, their supporters to go to the constituency coalition centers. How necessary are all this?
Well, let me say that I don't think they are necessary. These are all recipes for maybe chaos, because we have to believe in the ability of the EC to be able to deliver, you see. But if we have to call or mobilize our members, call on them, please go to the EC headquarters or go there and protect your votes or the ballot boxes. Honestly, as Dr. Machi was saying, these are all very disgraceful. Honestly, as a country and as a democratic country, as so to speak, as we would like to call ourselves, we are not doing well. And I believe that this to a large extent reflects the kind of leadership that we have.
Let's cross and told share some information for us at this very point in time. So, in Natalia, good evening to you.
I was reporting from the Sikado Ketan constituency of the Western region. I present papers, and then so I had to report to the commander who was there at that point, and then myself plus other journalists had to be escorted by the police to our homes. I can hardly hear.